So billionaire businessman and Twitter owner Elon Musk challenged President Joe Biden's social media team to give the 80-year-old the password to his Twitter account Saturday in a tweet thread overflowing with humorous jabs and cold hard fact. I don't even know if Joe Biden knows how to use Twitter. I don't know if Joe Biden knows how to use a cell phone. The guy doesn't even know how to use his own shoes. Okay, he can't go up a flight of stairs. He can't go down the stairs. He hits a golf ball backwards. He doesn't know how to use a golf club properly. He doesn't know where to hit a golf ball. You're gonna think this guy's gonna be able to use Twitter? I don't think so. But who's running the Twitter, huh? Who's running the tweet? It's about time the super wealthy. This is from Joe Biden, by the way. This is the tweet that he made on June 17th. It's about time the super wealthy start paying their fair share. President Biden tweeted from his personal account Saturday afternoon. You gotta love this. You gotta love this. Again, many of you don't know I was a tax accountant for a lot of years. It blows my mind. So it goes, well, they're not paying their fair share. What does that mean? What does it mean? Somebody let me in the comment section below. What is the fair share? If you ask any Democrat or any progressive left person that spouts this stuff, and some conservatives, Republicans, by the way, say the same thing. Oh, you gotta pay your fair share. What does that mean? I still don't know. Again, I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal. I wasn't like an advanced tax accountant and all these things, but I did do it for some period of time. I don't know what that means. Everybody's share is different. So if you go with the Bernie Sanders route of 1%, that it's not like the same people, you guys, are in the 1% every single year. Some people are, but there's wealth mobility in this country. You sell your house. So let's say you made $50,000. Let's just say you made $50,000 a year. You sold your property in California and made $1.2 million, or roughly, let's just say somewhere in that range. Or you sold your business, something that bumps you up for that 1 year into the top 1%. So now you're not always the 1%. Now you just get royally screwed for that 1 year because you have to pay a massive amount of capital gains tax or whatever it may be on that business or that property that you may sold. And now you're going to drop back down lower the following year because you only make $50,000 a year. I mean, what's the fair share? So that person that maybe even was low income, by the way, that sold that piece of property, moving to a different state, now is in that threshold of that 1% for 1 year, now drops down, you totally screw them. I don't know what it means. I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't know what it means by fair share. You see this with people with applying for businesses, right? Or should I say applying for employment. You can be making $40,000 a year, and you only need $40,000 a year to survive. But then you could be going in for that job, that same job as that $40,000 person, but you need $90,000 to survive because your share might be different. I understand this is different in taxes, but this is more of somebody's living situation. So Democrats just want to spout things out to the air about, well, I need my fair share, or I think somebody should pay their fair share. What does that mean? Everybody's situation is different. Let the rich be rich. I don't care. Why? I don't understand why we're always going after rich people. Like, when did they turn evil? Like, just say theoretically, right? I am not rich. I am nowhere near being rich, folks. If for some reason, say the Bald Brad show blows up and stuff like that, and it gets big, right? Let's just say theoretically. I hope it does. Well, let's say I started becoming rich. Like, at what point did I turn into an a-hole? Like, at what point did I turn evil? Do you know what I mean? Like, I would be the same person I was. In the same way that if you just sold your house tomorrow and you made like $2 million and now you're in the top 1% for whatever business you sold or whatever it may be, like, did you just in the span of 24 hours become an a-hole and now you're evil and now you deserve, now you're part of the 1%, the wealthy? You understand what I'm saying? It's so wild to me. And I don't understand it. If you're somebody that's for wealthy people paying their fair share, please let me know what the hell you're talking about. I just want to have a conversation around it because, again, are they supposed to pay 90% tax, 95, like Sam Seeger says? Like, some of these people want you to be taxed like 90%. It is wild. Like, why would you want to innovate anything? Why would you want to create a business knowing that the government's just going to take everything from you above a certain threshold? Why would you want to sit there and build more capital? Why would you want to invest in R&D to make new products that people want to buy, knowing that the government's just going to take 90% of it? About 2 hours later, Musk responded with a unusual challenge. He requested that Biden be given the keys to his social media account, not so subtly suggesting the gaffe-prone octogenarian doesn't come up with his own tweets. He hasn't come up with his own thing in a while. He literally makes up stories about, he thinks, it's so terrible. I mean, he's so far gone. He thinks his son died in Iraq. His son did not die in Iraq. I mean, the amount of stories this guy makes up is baffling. But guess who the media cover for? Joe Biden. And who do they target? Donald Trump or any sort of other Republican or conservative. Please give him the password so he can do his own tweets. Please, I'm begging you, Musk wrote, responding to Biden's tweet. Musk's challenge spread a number of responses ranging from Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, quip, about the definition of super wealthy being those who have more money than Joe Biden. Yes, and the Democrat Party. And he sent screenshots of the national debt clock. If you haven't looked at the national debt clock, folks, it's freaking terrifying. After joking about joking remark about Biden's writing or not his own tweets, Musk took on a more sober tone. He slammed excess government spending, saying that the burden is carried by those who can least afford it. Musk also included a prediction that the status quo would win the day. Folks, our government is spending an astronomical amount of money, and it's not on military. I'm so tired of people going, oh, we spend too much on military. It's one of the main functions of government. If you look at what we spend, roughly 70% of our budget is spent on social programs. 70% roughly, give or take, okay? That's insane. You're going to have to cut it at some point. You're going to have to make some sort of decision at some point. You just can't keep funding this thing. It's wild. And I understand no politician wants to touch it because people want their money. I get it. But you can grandfather people in. You're going to have to move some money around. But this whole idea that you're going to keep spending like we're doing, you guys, there's only ever been one country, I think in Western civilization, that's ever turned things around. And I believe that was Canada in the 70s. I could be wrong. I think it was Canada in the 70s or something like that. I'm reaching back in my memory. But basically, the odds of us turning this ship around, it's not good. It can be done, but you're going to be some seriously high taxes. It could happen in your lifetime, depending on your age. It could happen in my lifetime. I'm 34. It could happen in our kids' lifetime. At some point, it's going to happen. Or at some point, you're going to see a catastrophic event taking place. And I'm not sugarcoating that at all. You're going to see the biggest collapse of a country that in human history has ever seen. I think I'm joking. It's not like we owe. By the way, I just want to debunk some myths here. The first myth is that whole idea of, oh, we have enough money to pay this off. No, we don't. No, we don't. We're going to get to a point where literally we're only going to be paying off the interest. I'd also like to debunk the whole myth of, well, China owns our bleep. China, I believe, only owns like 7 to 9% of our debt, or at least that's how much they have. That's how much we owe them, roughly 7 to 9%. I mean, it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong when you're speaking of like $32 trillion. But at some point, this ship needs to be turned around. And again, the whole myth that we spend most of our money on military, no. Military is like third or fourth on the list. It's social programs. If you don't believe me, you can literally go on government.gov website. Just look up the budget. You can find it yourself, and you can see the pie chart. Those who will actually be forced to carry the burden of excess government spending are lower to middle income wage earners, as they cannot escape payroll tax. Correct. Even though the wealthy are the ones that pay almost all net tax in the country. That's what I never got with the whole pay your fair share. Like, how much do you want them to pay? You gotta love that word fair, right? The top percentage of wealth earners pay almost all tax in the United States. So if you break it down, it's not fair at all, by the way. At all. They're gonna keep pushing this. March 18th, President Biden tweeted that the average tax billionaire pay a 3%, including the same pay your fair share verbiage as Saturday's tweet. The tweet earned a community note, which is a Twitter's crowdsourced version of a fact-checking service. I mean, it's amazing that, this whole stuff gets us. So check this out. The 3% number Biden is referring to is based on a value increase of held investments, not on their income. However, these investments can also lose value, which is why they are taxed when they are sold and become income, meaning it's called realized in accounting and finance. It's realized at that point. And I'll also point out, Elizabeth Warren, the Democrat Party, I hope you're sitting down for this. I understand it's a long episode, and I'm going on a rant here, but it's a podcast. Elizabeth Warren wanted to tax unrealized capital gains. Let that sink in if you understand money. At one point, you can have an income and then a loss. I mean, what is there to tax? You don't know what's going to be valued at whenever you sell it. You don't know what there's going to be an increase or decrease. I mean, that's how bad they want your money. Democrats are going to stop at nothing, folks, to take everything you have from you at nothing. They want all your money, and it's going to be whatever they decide what your fair share is. They're going to decide for you, not you. Government's so frustrating. Calculating on that, the average tax rate for them is 25%, not 3%. Also, remember when they're going after Trump? Oh, he's not paying his fair share in taxes. He didn't even owe any federal income tax and blah, blah, blah year. We did his whole tax return shebang here on the Bald Brad Show like a year or two ago, maybe even longer. It's going to be longer because we've only been doing this for 2.5 years. Folks, this whole idea of like, yes, maybe not paying a ton of federal tax and going, oh, there's a loophole. Please stop saying, for the love of God, anybody that wants to learn anything, stop saying loophole. It's so annoying. There is no loophole. Accountants are just reporters at the end of the day. There's laws on the books. There's a tax code that we follow. It says, hey, you could do this, so you do it. Take this number, this calculation that we said you could do, and this is how you calculate it per what our rules are, and take that number and put it here, and it rolls over into this form, it rolls over into that form, bada bing, bada boom. That's all it is. There is no loophole. I understand there's people that break the law, but that's not a loophole. That's just you breaking the law. So you're allowed to do certain things. Trump just rolled over his losses. Everybody, you and I could do that. Everybody does it. Hillary Clinton did it. And that's why there was that famous back and forth in the primaries when it's Hillary versus Trump. And she's talking about, oh, well, he's doing this loophole and all that. He's like, and they're like, Mr. Trump, did you do this in your tax return? He's like, yeah, I took advantage of my losses in the same way that Hillary and her donors do the exact same thing. Everybody does that. You don't have to be somebody wealthy to take a loss and have that roll over, by the way. So it's just this whole nonsense that people push here about your fair share or your loopholes. There's no loopholes. Please, for the love of God, if you hear anybody saying loophole, have them explain it to you, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. The same people have somebody else do their taxes are all of a sudden tax experts. I'm not even a tax expert, but I know what the freaking loophole is, and there's no loophole. You want to change it, change it. And you also have to love the aspect that Joe Biden is saying people need to pay their fair share. You had all three branches of government, you knucklehead. If you didn't think people were paying their fair share, why didn't you change it when you had all three branches of government? You could have done it very easily, and you didn't. So it's just grandstanding once again. Typical. I paid more income tax than ever in the history of Earth for 2021, and we'll do that again in 2022, Musk repeated and tweeted in response. And then he also paid 53% taxes on his Tesla stock options, which must be lifting the average. Yeah, a little bit. That's insane. 53% tax. That's why people get out of California. If you make a lot of money, I don't know why you're living here. I've always said it. For some reason, I end up making a lot of money in life. I am out of here so quick because the amount I could be saving by not living in the state of California, by not paying state income tax, is astronomical. If you're a wealthy person, I mean, that you could buy a house with that percentage of income tax if you go into the state of California. If you move to Florida, just buy a house outright. I'd get the hell out of here so quick, and that's why you do. That's why you have a lot of wealthy people get the hell out of the state. The guy from Barstool does the exact same thing. Somebody asked him that same question. They go, why are you, he basically goes from Florida to New York, but he has a certain calculation. I forgot. You have to spend a certain amount of days in a specific state to basically grab hold of that state in terms of filing your taxes. So he stays in Florida the majority of the time. People are asking, why do you do that? Well, he literally was able to make the same amount of money and whatever money he was able to save by living in the state of Florida, because there's no income tax compared to New York City that wants to take everything from you, along with California. He was able to just buy a house. He has the best of both worlds. But that's a loophole. That's a loophole. You don't like it? Change it. Change it then. I'm so tired of people going, oh, it's a loophole or it's this or that. Just change it then. In 2021, Musk paid over $11 billion in taxes. What also people don't realize, you guys, when people talk about taxes, and just going back to the whole Trump argument, if somebody teaches finance, obviously taxes as well, I like to debunk things. And the whole idea, like, he doesn't pay taxes. Yeah, he might not pay technically federal income tax on the end return per his taxes. He builds skyscrapers, you guys. He has property. The amount of property tax that guys pays is more than you'll probably make in your lifetime. And no offense, I'm not trying to belittle anybody. More than I make in my lifetime. The sales tax that he pays is head spinning. Imagine all the product that he has to buy to build a skyscraper. The steel, the concrete, the insurance. Understand it's not, I mean, it's kind of a tax. But the employee side of it on the tax, their payroll tax. I mean, the guy spends a lot of money in taxes. Don't give me this whole idea he doesn't pay taxes. I'm so tired of that whole thing. Oh, loophole, he doesn't pay taxes. Yes, he does. The same way Musk pay taxes as well. You just don't see it on the end return at the end of the year because he's capitalizing on those losses. You don't like it, change it at the end of the day. But let me know what you think about this story in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.